Abraham, an Abraham junkie. I love you so much. I read your books. I even found your two books that are out of print, which is The New Beginning, number 1 and 2.
We can hear a big butt coming on. Can you?
No but. No but. And I'm really, really enjoying them. I made up a statement for myself. Attention is invitation based on your teachings. So I don't want to pay attention to the disconnected fools. And I know the reason terrorism, all these violences continuing to come back again and again is because the world is paying attention to them and bringing up the wide vibration of it. So what are we supposed to do with disconnected fools who want to kill us?
Where to begin? Do you accept that out of contrast comes desire? And so does it follow that more peaceful world comes from a world of turmoil? So you're not an advocate of releasing contrast. You acknowledged that we are salesmen of contrast. And the reason that we are is because we know that the variety is what causes new desire to be born. And so we know that you're not advocating a removing of contrast. Therefore, you must be an acceptor of differences of opinion, of everyone getting to choose their point of view. We know that it's not their differing opinions that you are railing against. It's the momentum that they have gathered in their pushing against. Anyone who finds their own power and who is in alignment with it is not seeking power over others because they've already found their ultimate alignment. And so the only way that your world will ever soften and have fewer of those who are in their fear and in their desperation railing out in defiance against those who they believe sincerely are oppressing them is for their feeling of oppression to go away. And so when you fight terrorism with terrorism, you don't cause oppression to go away. In other words, it's the soothing of others that is required, not the containment of them. That just causes them to find yet another way and another way and another way. And so our friend earlier asked, what is my purpose for this life? And we want to say that none of you have been sent to write something so big as that. In fact, none of you are here by your own commission to be here in order to get anybody else to stop or cease doing anything. You're here as advocates of what you want. And we know it is a hard thing to hear, but it is in the advocation of what you do want that becomes your world, not in the pushing against of what you do not want. You just cannot get around it, that this is a world based upon inclusion. It's an attraction-based universe. So when you look at something wanted and you say yes to it, you include it in your vibration. When you look at something and shout no at it, you include it in your vibration. And as much as it sometimes seems like a good idea, you don't get to choose what other people get to say yes or no to. But we will say that so many people are getting so much that they don't want as they're shouting no at it. And certainly terrorism is an exaggerated, advanced form of that. But what are you going to do about it? You can't offer the vibration for them, and you can't contain their vibration, nor should you try. Because when you try to stop somebody from doing something that you don't want, you become a terrorist too. You become one who is then pushing against them. And who gets to decide who's the right one in the pushing against? Because it never works for anyone, you see. And so, what to do about it? You have to live your own life experience. You have to find your own alignment and understand that when you do, that only that which is a vibrational match to who you are can come to you.
I was not thinking of personal safety. I was thinking of,
we know,
how do we deal with these people? Are there anybody who wants to come here and become a disconnected fool? Or everybody comes here with the intention of joy?
None of you intended to be out of sync with your guidance system. How do you reach the place of wanting to be in sync with your guidance system if you've never had the discomfort of being out of sync with it? In other words, it's all part of the same thing, isn't it? What this conversation is really about is, once you come to remember how this universe all fits together, and once you have shown yourself what alignment feels like and what not alignment feels like, and you seek to be in alignment because it feels good and because it brings you your clarity and your appreciation and all that you seek, once you have come to that personal awareness of how that all fits together, then there is not anything more. But look how many come into these physical experiences. Look how many, even as you are listening to us here, find yourself often willing to experience, to tolerate, to endure negative emotion. It's the endurance of negative emotion. It's the willingness to put up with a guidance system that's showing you that you've got resistance and not doing something about releasing it that causes law of attraction to add to the momentum of that negative resistance. It really is that simple.
Thank you so much.
So your question is not even so specific about what to do about a terrorist or a group of terrorists, is wanting to understand why they would exist at all. And we want to say, why would you endure negative emotion? Why do you endure doubt? Why do you endure fear? What's the answer to that? Are you ever afraid? Are you afraid of terrorists?
No.
Why would anybody endure it? We think it's because you don't think you have a choice. We think it's because you really believe that what they're doing is the reason that you feel this way. And so since you believe that what they're doing is the reason that, whether it's a terrorist or whether it's a 2-year-old terrorist, in other words, you believe that what they're doing is the reason that you feel this way, that's the thing that you have to come to terms with, because it's not what anyone else is doing that is causing you to feel this way. It's what you're not doing that is causing you to feel this way. It's your absence of alignment that is causing you to feel that vulnerability, you see. And so there is not an easy answer to so many of the struggles that your world is experiencing. And it is annoying when you are in the midst of a situation that has you feeling negative emotion. It's annoying to hear anyone say, well, you just got to get over it, or you just got to focus yourself into another place. You just got to find a different way of looking at it, because when you're all caught up in it, the momentum of it feels like it requires some action. But it is our promise to you that 100% of the time, when action is offered from a place of vulnerability, from a place of not alignment, from a place of non-connection, that there will be a perpetuation of more of that. And you've got to step back far enough to understand that that is contrast that you all came forth willing to allow to be experienced, because if you don't know what you do not want, you cannot know what you do want. And so these are not the worst of times. These are the best of times. They are also the worst of times. It's interesting that the worst of times and the best of times are all happening at the same time, because the contrast, whatever it is, in other words, if there can be unspeakable joy, there has to be the room for unspeakable pain. In other words, it's different ends of the same vibrational wave. You see what we're getting at? You just have to decide what end of the stick you're going to set your tuner to. So what we wish for you is that you would not fight against contrast or variety, but instead accept it as the buffet that it is, from which you get to choose. And we wish for you that you are able to find your own autonomy, that you come to understand that what the path of least resistance means is it's not peace all around the world. It's not the changing of a condition so that you can have a better feeling response to the condition. It's an unconditional love. It's not needing the condition to change, because that's what gets you into war to begin with. That's what provokes terrorism to begin with. The belief that this condition is depriving me of something, therefore that condition has to change. That condition that isn't any of my business has to change in order for me to feel better. Eventually, that condition will come so close to you, you will believe it is part of your business. But it doesn't need to be part of your business. You bring it to you by your attention to it, you see. So what unconditional alignment is, what unconditional love is, it's finding the frequency of something without needing the condition to change. This is really what we're leading you to understand in all of this. When someone is in your experience and they're behaving just the way you want them to behave in order for you to feel good at all times, you're living a very conditional love, which means you're going to be in great trouble when you get out into the world where everyone's not catering to you the way this one person has been catering to you. Because if you need the conditions to line up so that you can feel good, you're going to be in a lot of trouble with yourself right away, because there are other people that are doing other things based upon things that are important to them, not things that are important to you. But when you discover that you have the ability under all conditions to find a vibrational frequency that puts you into alignment, now you are truly free. That's the freedom that you are really looking for, not a world that is the same. Do you see how hard you fight against being the same? There's a lady out there with pink hair. Esther's good friend and employee. Pink hair. Ridiculous. Really lovely in every way. But what we are getting at is, when you need conditions to be exactly the way you think you need them to be, you are bound, because now you are in this place of needing to control the conditions. And it's the belief that you must control conditions that is at the heart of all of that dysfunction. So let's talk about this vibration that is all that you want, and it's all that you've become. It's the vortex version of you. It's infinite intelligence. It's guidance that's being offered to you. It's clarity about everything that matters to you. Everything that matters to you. And so it's being offered to you, and now you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Maybe you meditated, maybe you went to the beach. Doesn't matter. You found vibrational alignment in some way. Now the ideas begin to occur to you, and as the idea occurs to you and you feel the emotion of it, you begin the translation of that knowledge, of that already accomplishment, of that expansion, of that evolution. You begin to translate it into your experience. So the first thing that happens is you have a thought and an emotion that comes. That's still unconditional. In other words,